Friend, we're going to talk about the seventh mode derived from, let's see here, Neapolitan major. Now, what we're trying to do is get us to the point where we can start using these scales. Just because we're showing these in a 7-note form doesn't mean that you shouldn't find these all over the fretboard. Meaning, now that we're kind of at the last modal structure, most people don't get to Neapolitan major nor minor, let alone harmonic minors and stuff past like Ionian and Aeolian. So if you made it this far in this type of series and you're still along with this, cool. If you have anything to add, please put in the comment section. We're going to keep doing these over and over. I still have students that learn in different ways, so there's always 2 ways to do things. So just a little heads up, when we're doing these kind of scales and we have these awkward kind of like movements, these are 3-note patterns that we eventually will be doing on the fretboard all over itself. What I'm doing is I'm not combining all 3 different places. So to explain that, watch this. C major, if we play our 3rd finger on a C and play C, open D, E, F, open G, A, open B, and C, we have a C major scale. The triad played when we do this has 3 notes, C, E, and G. Therefore, 6 strings makes doubles up, sometimes triples of same notes. But you're never gonna have a note that has anything other than those unless it's a different chord, which would add different notes, like a sus note, a 2, or sus note 4. So what we do is we go through these scales to see what those notes are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 can be played in a 2nd position with that same note. You would have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. The next one would be playing 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, and far, and then 5. These are all the same notes in the key of C, all natural. When you scoot up anywhere else, you would still have C, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp. You would have F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, and C sharp. It goes the same way. Knowing those names of notes like D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, it comes with time. Learn your circle fifths, learn how to do videos like this, and watch your fingers grow from seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as being a major chord that you can manipulate. The way we get modes is we start the same scale, the root scale, at different intervals. So in the key of C major, let's pick one random that we haven't through all these. Maybe it'd be fitting and fair to play Locrian. C, D, E, F, G, A, B is the 7th note. So if I go back here and I start my C major scale with B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C, doesn't happen. We go. That gives us B Locrian, which is only found in the key of A minor and C major, since they charismatically share those 2 key signatures. Now, that's a lot of theory, but here's what it comes down to. When we're playing something like our Neapolitan major, which has a minor 3rd, we'd be playing a 1, flat 2, flat 3, natural 4, natural 5, natural 6, natural 7, and then 1. So every time we do a different pattern from that, we have to add our next note. We can't get off track. If we were playing a D, that would be the next note that we would play in succession. So we have to play our chords where they line up. And that thusly is the process unto which we give ourselves our modes. Cool? So when we play this from the 7th scale degree, the Neapolitan major, which exhibits that same half step up to the flat 3, natural 4, 5, 6, 7, the 7th tone gives us something super special. Now watch this. We're gonna do it through the eyes of C. We would have 1 goes to flat 2. We have a double flat 3, which is why this is called Super Locrian or Locrian double flat 3. We can also use this over very awkward augmenting diminished chords. When moving through the process of this, you're going to hear 7ths and 9s and 5s sort of move themselves all over the place. Meaning, when we take a 5 and drop it down in the case of G major, we would have a very murky chord. This is one of those movements that we would use over the top of that. So through the eyes of C, because that's what we're doing here, C would go to D flat. Because we're doing this enharmonically, we need to have an E double flat, and I know that that is just an E, so or a D, but an E double flat is a D hypothetically. We just don't call them always that. So C, D flat, E double flat, F flat is in fact an E note. So we're gonna have to be playing that up. Yeah. So when we go through the process of sing C, D flat, E double flat, E, We have that E, but we call it F flat because we've already gone through E. We have G flat, we then have A flat, we've got B flat, and then it goes right back to C. Feeling that we have so try and incorporate this over the top by utilizing it where it falls naturally. You can go anywhere on the fretboard and find your last phrasing. So in this one, we're playing at C. If we did it at C here, we would just follow all the notes. There happens to be my 3. We would have the phrasings of the whole notes there, and that sort of pattern still continues over the top of this whole thing. So when we use this, it will spice up your playing. The thing I always suggest at the end of these is try these scales or modes in note patterns. So if we were just doing a major chord, put on a metronome or a backing track that has like, how about we'll do it in C. C, C, G, C. And if I had a click on here, it would be, if you have a hard time finding the beat, put it on double that. And then subdivide for yourself. Clack, 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 clack. It'll help you find the one. It will. So when you're doing this, if you had a C major here and you were playing in the key of C, you could have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. As soon as you move that chord to anything other than a C, like a G, you're influencing a possible sharp 4 in your C. C, D, E, F sharp, because G major has that F sharp. So if we're playing a melody, you might be able to sneak in all your C notes, and then when it goes to G, play the same C major scale, but use your F sharp, and it will be giving you C Lydian. It gives you G Mixolydian. These are modes that are derived out of the first 7 that we generally learn. C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and then we're gonna be, so you can do this in many different ways, but what I found teaching is if you know how to play a D, scoot it up and then go down a half step. This concept gives you what you're looking for. This note doesn't work. This note kind of works. You're not going to want to go further than that. These also make our fingers stretch. So the concept is when we're learning how to play a song, we learn how to play with different fingers. If I wanted to know how to go to a chord faster, I would want to be able to use all my fingers to play the same types of chords. So when playing this D, if we play this D with a secondary fingering, go down horizontally and scoot that up. Put our finger at the B. This is how we form any diminished. If I wanted to play a D sharp diminished, I could go to D sharp right here, put my finger on the B, put my finger on the D, and then pinky wraps around for the G whilst not playing the 2 outer notes. I get myself a diminished, and that wraps right back into my next half step for an E major. So that was a D sharp diminished. When we go through the process of seeing, a little bit of theory goes a long way. All these chords that are on this channel and every other place you can find the internet will help. But the bottom line is you must practice for 5 minutes a day and keep the practice and keep the fun time the fun time. The practice part of this is going to look like this. This is a 4-note run using a Neapolitan major 7th mode. I'm using my half step, my 1, flat 2, flat 3, flat 4, and my brain says that's what that is. Even though I could ultimately call that C, D flat, D, E, but what happened to all my notes in between? You must name them naturally. It's easier to speak to people when you're talking this musically, and it also helps you to write melodic movements when you're doing this on your own instrument. So I hope you enjoyed yourself. I sure as heck did. Join us next time when we discuss new modes and do different ways to figure this out and put it into your playing to make you a stronger player.